Now I've made up a dragon, this one here. So we're going to start with this one, and then we're going to do a dragon from How to Train Your Dragons. Good old Toothless. We're going to have a go at drawing Toothless as well. What we'll do is we will draw the first dragon first, we will colour it with textures and pencils, and then we'll do Toothless afterwards, okay? Now, thanks for joining me. I hope you've got everything you need, pencil and paper, and hopefully we don't have any technical difficulties like we did yesterday, okay? Let's get started. But let's get on with our dragons. We've got a HB pencil and we're going to start with, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so that we can make that as big as we possibly can. Sorry guys, that looks a lot better now. Whoops, no it doesn't. Okay, we're going to start with an oval shape here. So not up and down, but on an angle. So about like this. An oval shape. So I've got myself an oval there. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to do another little oval coming out here like so. This is like for the nostrils. Now these are light. Looks a little bit like Mickey Mouse. If I put a couple of more ovals on that, I'd almost have it. All right, so now what we're going to do here is finish off the head. So on this dragon, we're going to be coming up like so. That's this part. Now for the nose, we're going to do like a rounded M shape, like that. And then we don't need these little bits in between. We can rub some of them out. If you've got a small rubber, give them a bit of a rub out, and you can see we've done the nose. Now yesterday, if you joined me yesterday, we did Aussie Animals, and that's up on YouTube if you missed it. Hope you had a great day yesterday, everyone, and I hope you've also had a great day today. Oval shape, another oval shape for the nostrils, and what we're going to do is we're going to bring this line through here and make it a smile. At the moment, it's a little bit like a pig's nose, isn't it? When I first did one of these, it looked a little bit like a cow, but that's all good. I'm going to put an eye here, circle. Now, if you want to make yours look a bit more angry, this one's a cute dinosaur, dragon, sorry. If you wanted to make it look a little bit angry, you could bring the mouth down and put some eyebrows that come down on an angle. Couple of little circles for the little white bits. Okay, here's where the fun starts with dragons. Now, I'm going to draw this reasonably quickly. We have got a bit of an S shape. So I'm going to start about here, and I'm going to bring it down and bring it back up like the letter S. Just pretend that it's almost like a letter S. Now drawing these, it's easier, rather than trying to move your little bit at a time, it's easier to draw it with your whole arm, move your whole arm. Okay, the other thing we're going to do now is we're going to draw this other back line coming around there, and that comes down, comes in, comes around, and we should be getting narrower as we go around to join our tail up, like so. Now, doesn't that look a bit strange so far? We need to add all the other cool bits on. All right, so we're going to do the belly of the dragon. So I'm going to rub out, I'm going to use my normal rubber here, and you can control where you want. Looks almost like a sea dragon. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to bring this line and follow it around like so, and then we're going to join it up there. That's like the belly of the dragon. Okay. All right. Hi, Kate. Thanks for joining us. If you have If you want to say hi in the chat or you want to tell us where you're from, that's also great. We've had some awesome people send me through some cool emails and photos of what they've been doing. All right, this shape here is a curved line, but I'm going to draw it as a big oval shape. So I'm going to put an oval shape here like so. Nice and light, and then one over that side, sort of on the same line. This one's a little bit shorter because that would be further away from us. This one's a bit closer, so I've made it a little bit longer. Now that's just to help guide us through how to do the rest. Now, we've got a bit of a bumpy line coming through here. So what we're going to do is at the start of the wing where it joins the body, we're just going to do a round. We're going to come down, back up, back down to where this end of that is, and then back around and then curve it around like that. Now remember, every time you draw, well, I've drawn this dragon maybe twice, and this third time it's even different again, okay? And I'm drawing live, so pressure's on. All right, so now what we're gonna do is another curved line, sort of starting just in here and bringing it across and around like so. That's like the front of the wing. And then this is the underneath of the wing. And then if you want to, you could add some little spikes on the wing, just like little rounded triangles, I suppose, or little teardrop shapes. Now I've pointed them back towards the dragon rather than the other way. And on this other side, I will point them back to the dragon as well. Just little things like that can make a big difference. Okay, I'm going to, because you can't see where this joins onto the dragon because it's on the other side, we're going to just bring it down and around, up and down, and then around like so. And then we'll bring this front of the wing around like so. So this dragon now is starting to take shape. It's got some wings. Now, I know that there's some really cool movies with dragons and shows with dragons in them. Game of Thrones was one of my favourite shows. Lord of the Rings. I know there's dragons in books like Wings of Fire that you guys might like reading. Dragons are a pretty cool creature. All right, so now what we're going to do, once we've got both wings done, we are going to put the belly lines on. So I'm going to bring them to make it look like it's curved. So see how I'm curving them around from the bottom and putting them a curve. That makes, if I just did them straight up, it would look like it's got a flat belly. So I'm just curving them around. And I'm going to pretend the leg's not even there at the moment. Then once we start getting here, we might start bringing them back the other way, like so. And that curves it in so it flattens down along the tail. It's got a rounded belly, and then it's sort of the tail kicks in a bit. All right, let's draw this front leg, this one here. We're going to draw an oval shape for the leg. So you might make that a biggish oval, and then another oval shape coming off like so, or a curved line. And then you could rub out the bits. Ooh, good to hear Max is back and he's got some new pencils. Excellent. Nothing like a new set of pencils. Okay, I'm gonna rub out some of those. And then we're going to put the little bits on here. And then we're going to put the other leg back here. So probably similar sort of thing, just bring a curve around like so for the back leg. And then put a couple of little toenails on. Now, my dragon has got a bit of a mohawk. You could put some, I did do one with horns and it looked a little bit like a cow, so I went away from the horns and went for the hair. What we can do down here though is put some like teeth like work. Now my dragon is having a bit more rounded, that's why I haven't used any really sharp points. Even these are like rounded. If you wanted to make it fiercer, you'd probably go with really sharp pointy bits, like so they would look like that rather than like that. And the hair, or the whatever you want to call this part of the dragon, you could put whatever you want, horns coming off, etc., or more pieces. I'm going to put the hair, so I'm just going to bring a little line down here on the inner part of here, like so, and then I'm just going to bump it down all the way. It almost looks like a comb from a chicken. Now, the one thing that you guys have got benefit of nowadays is reference materials. There's so much on the internet that you guys can look at to help you with your drawings. Okay, I think that that's looking pretty good. How about we start outlining that to make it look even better? And this is where we can make some adjustments if we want to as well. So I'm going to outline this one. Now we've only got 2 dragons today. Normally I've been doing about 3 pictures, but because these dragons are a little bit more complex, that's why I've limited it to 2 so we don't take up too much of your time. I'm just going to go around these with I think this is an ultra fine Sharpie. Remember to have something underneath, people. Yesterday I had some really good questions too, so if you have a question, feel free to ask it in the chat, okay? But obviously, because I'm drawing, I won't be able to type back and say hello at the moment, but I can talk. So I'm just going over all my lines. And round like so. Over all these bumpy bits. So if you have a spare moment and if you've got spare moment and you want to say where you're from, it's good to see some people back. I've got Stefan back. Max has returned by the looks. Kate's new. Welcome, Kate. Hope you've enjoying the dragon so far. Now I chose not to put little hands on the dragon because the wings are sort of like its hands. Some dragons have little ones because dragons can be a sort of a cross between lizards, crocodiles, birds, dinosaurs. They look a little bit bring a combination of a few things together. Now you could even turn yours into a unicorn dragon if you put a horn on it. Lots of people love unicorns drawings. Okay, going over these lines. Remember, well, if you haven't heard me say it, you will now. Remember, there is no such thing as mistakes. It's all learning. We're having a go. You might be following along and go, oh, I'm actually not happy with that. You can have another try and another try. Okay, practice is what makes us better artists, whether it's copying pictures, whether it's coming up with our own, or looking at objects and drawing them. Any drawing you do is going to make you a better drawer. Okay, and you can see that I've just changed that a little bit there. Oops, there we go. I accidentally went off track. I'll see if I can do something to get rid of that. Looks pretty good. I think I'm pretty happy with most of those bits. So was that a question for me? How long have I been drawing? Well, I've been a teacher of art for 20 years in schools, both high school and primary school, probably the last 15 years of primary school. So in terms of me drawing my own drawings, I didn't really get much time, but I'm sort of making more time now, and I'm really enjoying doing some drawings. I've got some, these drawings are kind of cool fun. I do like doing some Copic marker drawings as well, which I'm about to release a video soon on a baby Yoda that I've been drawing using Copic markers. So you'll have to keep an eye out for that. Alrighty, there's our little dragon. And now the fun part starts with the colouring in. So I got some textures that not normal textures. These are brush tip ones, that Brunziel ones. And they've got a nice little tip on them. If you use sometimes people in I've got after school classes, they love to use these. After a while, the tips can get a little bit funny on them if you press too hard. But this one seems to be working all right. Okay, so we've got the yellow belly. I like to colour in from the lightest colour to the darkest colour sometimes. That way, if let's say I had some black here and I was colouring in and then I went yellow and I accidentally went into black, it's not going to smudge and ruin my work. So the next darkest colour will be the orange. Let's just test this orange. Yep, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to put some orange in under the wing. Now you can change your dragon colour. You don't have to copy my dragon colour. I'm just showing you how to go about drawing some dragons today. And I'll show you some of the ones that I've done for a warm-up, like in my sketchbook. I'll show you some of them because some of them are a little bit more fierce looking. I took some inspiration from Chinese dragons, Japanese dragons, also some other dragons that I saw, and did some little quick sketches. But they might be other YouTube videos that I do later in the year. Alrighty, so done the orange parts. I may do the pink bits, the pink tail bits, and this dragon is got some little pink spikes. Now you see that I've just changed the end on here just to get into these smaller little areas. Now if you have seen any equipment that you like, I do have a shop. So if you go to my website, peterevansart.com.au, I do sell these Brunziel pencils and pens and Copics as well at very good prices. So there's my little plug for today. All right, nice and neat, stay in the lines. Follow the shapes you can outline first. This dragon's taking my time to colour. You guys might be quicker at colouring, should I say. But what you don't want to see is white spaces in your colouring. It makes a huge difference if you cover it all in. I think I used just a normal Colour Fun marker here for this green. Yep. I used to tell kids at school that the textures have an anti-rush mechanism. You know, when you start getting it looking light like that, there's an inbuilt anti-rush mechanism. So if you go too fast, they're not going to work on you. Who would have thought that textures had those built into them? Okay, so remember, it's not about how hard you press either. You don't have to press hard with textures. A good texture, you should just press nice and lightly and the color should come out. Now you can see that this one is starting to lose its color. Just like I did the other day. I may have to get my personal assistant to find me a new green. That's my wife, by the way. Superheroes. Someone asked me, do I draw superheroes? Sometimes. This morning I've been practicing a few Spider-Mans. I've also been practicing Iron Man. Little Ushi style characters. I've got a picture of Star-Lord's Ushi up on my wall that I did in Copic markers, but I never did a video on that one. So yes, I do draw some superheroes, and hopefully I'll get some more time to do some of those things and bring them to you. Oops, just to go on, this part of the wing is a little bit, must be the way I'm sitting. I'm trying not to move my page. Remember, you can move your page around however you like. Now, the reason I don't have any music on in the background is one time I did a sing live stream and I had some music in the background, and YouTube picked up that I used that and they basically made me remove it. So most of the voice that I had while the music was on in the background, I had to take it off. So that's why I don't have the music on, because it's all copyright. Okay. There we have our dragon. It's not looking as good as this one. And who can tell me why, you reckon, in the chat? Anyone got an idea of why this one's not looking as good as that one? Who's quick on the keyboard? Anyone? All gone a bit shy? Alrighty. I will tell you why. Let's have a look. If you look closely at this dragon here, we can see there's some darker green around here and some darker green around all the bottom edges of those bits. That's what we can do with a pencil. So if the light's coming from there, it's going to hit the top of that wing. If that wing's rounded, we're going to put a little bit of darker green on that edge. Now, pressure and layering controls our shading. The light would hit the top of there, so I'm going to put some darker bit underneath here. How are we going for time, people? Yep, we're going pretty well. Now, obviously, I'm stepping you through this live, so I can't speed up the video, so it's quicker for you guys. And I'm working at a reasonable pace for you as well, so it's not too long, but not too quick that you get left behind and you don't understand what we're doing. So what I'm trying to do is get that looking rounded, because obviously the dragon's rounded. And along the bottom of the tail, I would put some shading on as well. Now, if I was doing this without being on video, I'd probably turn this upside down, because it's easier to sort of shade like that than it is sort of like this. You've got to think about using the natural movement of your arms and your hands when you draw. Don't just draw with your fingers. Draw with your whole wrist, your arm, your elbow, your shoulder even. And if you're able to draw at an easel, which is like a thing that holds a big piece of paper, like a big stand, you can even draw with your whole body. All right. I'm sitting down in a swivel chair, drawing all in the same spot. All right, that's looking better already. I'm going to put a little bit of shading underneath the nostrils there, underneath the mouth. Just shade that out. Now you might notice on here that I've used some orange. Okay, if you have been at school, I'm hoping you would have learnt about the colour wheel. The colour wheel is super important. Okay, when we blend colours, we can blend colours that are next to each other on the colour wheel. So the reason I'm using orange here is because it's next to yellow, so I can blend that in nicely. So I'm going to get an orange pencil and I'm going to blend it in. Light's going to hit there. It's going to be darker along the bottom here, like so. And I'm just going to blend that up. Layering, pressure and pencil type can make a huge difference. So I'm pressing harder now down the bottom there. Hope you guys can see that okay. May zoom in a little bit here to just give you a bit of a closer look on the tail when I do that. Okay, so pressing harder to lighter, like so. Now I have a few sayings that you've probably picked up on by now. You know, keep persisting. No, there's no such thing as mistakes. It's all learning. I like to repeat those because they are super important. Let's say these are bumps in between as well. That's why I'm doing it along the black line. And I'm going to go all the way up along here. I shifted that piece of paper because it was underneath. And sometimes if you have a piece of paper underneath, you can leave lines. That's a different type of shading again. All right, just popping a little bit of shading through there. That's looking better. We could then get a red. So let's see, because we've got orange, we can go red, which is a darker value than orange. So that's why I'm going to put red underneath here, underneath the wing to make it shade out a little bit. You can see I can do that quite freely because I'm using my elbow. And my elbow is like a wiper movement as well. It's all about control, all right? I'm sure you guys didn't ace your favorite video game the first time you played it. You got to keep practicing and you get better and better. Drawing's the same. All right, I'm going to zoom back out. Sorry, you might have missed some of that I did. I forget sometimes that I've zoomed in. Alrighty, I reckon, we could put some purple or darker purple up there because pink sort of fits in between red and purple. So we could put some little bit of purple in there if we wanted to. Let's see what that looks like. We've got some cool parts of the dragon, look at that. I've put it along here because the light would hit the outer side of the hair, just to make that look a bit better. Alrighty, I reckon that dragon looks pretty cool. You might go, well, it's not as good as this one, but you know, I did this live. The other thing you might notice is that I've got a few thicker lines underneath. You could do that as well. So if you wanted to even make it better, you could put some darker Sharpie lines underneath some of these parts like that, called variety of line, and underneath there, etc., under the tail, the leg, and you can see where I've done it on this one. I'm not going to do that today because I want to get on to Toothless for you guys. So there's the first dragon's finished, okay, and Toothless we might only get time to maybe draw. Toothless, we'll see how we go. We've already clocked up half an hour. I don't know whether I'm getting slower or what's happening, or whether the drawings are getting more complex. Rightio, Toothless, let's go. Look for the basic shapes, starting with a oval shape. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is put the big smile that Toothless has. Another line like so. Then we are going to I'm just going to put a line through the middle like that, nice and lightly. That's a guideline because that's where all these little spiky, little bumpy bits go on Toothless. Now you might find that I'm going a little bit quicker to get this one done. So oval shape like so on an angle, oval shape like so on an angle. The reason I've drawn that line there is that's symmetrical. We can rub that out, but I wanted to keep that there to show you that what's on this side should be the same on that side. Circle, circle, tiny little white circle there and there. Now the fun begins. Okay, so what we do is we bring this line out and we bring it out and we draw basically an oval shape like so, another oval shape like so. These are 4. And then we bring out these bits to make them look like, not sure what you call those bits of him. But he's so cute in the movie when he's jumping around. It's a pretty cool movie. Or movies, should I say. Don't forget the nostrils. The nostrils are sort of pointing up towards the middle of the eyeball. Okay, like so. All right, we have the head. All right, let's do the body. So let's draw basically an oval shape for the body. It's about the similest, little bit bigger than the head, okay? And then from here, we're gonna draw a tail that comes out and around like so. You can bring it, whoops, let's bring it around like that. And from about here, we're gonna bring it around, curved line, getting thinner as it goes towards the end of the tail. And we're gonna rub that out. So I've got the tail on. Now, the wings. What we're gonna do is we are going to start up here and we're gonna pretend that there is an oval shape here, okay? And the reason we're doing that is because the wings curve back around and that helps us position both together. Okay, so as I said, I'm going a little bit faster, so I hope you guys are okay. All right, so watching this wing now, we come up, across, and then we are going to bring a curve line down. Okay, and then this one, this wing here. Notice how I've drawn this to curve to match up and go through. So we line them up. Then this is going to be a curved line coming up here. So this wing comes out and then we're going to put a curved line coming around like so. Hope that's helping you draw the dragon toothless. Dragons are complex, but when you look at it and you simplify them down into carry lines through and hiding behind all the detail, you look through that and you see the common shapes, it's a lot easier. Alrighty, Toothless has this little bit that kicks out on both wings, so I'm just going to draw a little bit that kicks out there and a little bit that kicks out here. And then it's a matter of drawing some bumps. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you're not quite getting them equally spaced, that's okay. They seem to start bumpy and then they get spiky as they go out. These ones here, you can't really see because some of them are behind the tail. So that's why I've done it like that. And then it's a matter of drawing the legs on. All right, so we're gonna draw this first leg, and if this is the bottom of Toothless, we're gonna bring the leg down. Whoops, there goes my dog. And here's another leg coming up. Got a little cavoodle and he's just heard something he didn't like. And then the little toes, or little claws should I say. And then the last little leg there. Now, am I going to draw superheroes? I can't remember if that's on my plan of attack for these free live sessions, but it certainly is for just my normal YouTube videos. There is Toothless, okay? And now it's time to put some, oops, I've forgotten these little bits on the cheeks. Little shapes like so, coming off here like that. So remember how I've said in the past, all things are made up of straight lines, angles, curved lines, doesn't matter what type of curve, dots and circles, ovals, etc. Remember, if you can draw those, you're going to end up with a really good drawings. All right, I've just zoomed in a little bit more there. That's better again. Forgot the tail. Just sneak him up a bit. All right, the tail. So this is what you do. 1, 2, 3, and then 4 lines coming off like so. 1, 2, 3, 4 that way. 1, 2, 3, 4 that way. So see how I've curved them this way, curve them that way. Then it's a matter of bump, like so. So he's got 3 sections to that tail and 3 sections to this tail. And he's got these little bits because remember he had to make an artificial tail for Toothless. So these like little curved bits at those joins, they come over like so. And that's why this is red and that's black. Remember, Toothless was did get a bit fierce in the show at times. All right. Okay, I've got my Sharpie now. How are we going for time? Pretty good. Maybe we'll just outline this. And I'll give you, and just show you how to shade a few bits in with pencils. Now, I hope I'm not going too long for you guys. But remember, if you have to go anywhere, or you can always come back. That's the beauty of the YouTube, and that's why I've done it on YouTube and not like say Zoom, because it's there forever now. You guys, if you missed a bit or you didn't attend the session, you can come back and have a look at it another time, which is kind of cool, I reckon. It's like a resource that you can always check out. Okay, going around with my ultra fine Sharpie. If you're new, the reason we use Sharpies is because it gives us the option that it's not going to smudge. But we've got to have something underneath. Look at all that stuff underneath there from stuff going through. Try not to have any other good pictures underneath either though, because I did that yesterday or the other day. I had a nice picture underneath and the Sharpie went onto it. So I've got the rest of this week. So tomorrow, it's going to be Food Friday. So we're going to draw some cool food. And then next week, I've got my program sorted out. I know that there's going to be a combi with a scene. I'm pretty sure I'm going to look at some proportions of faces. I think I've got some underwater scenes. So what I'm trying to do is cater for sometimes they might be a little bit aimed at more of the older primary kids, and sometimes they might be aimed at the younger ones, depends on, but everyone can have a go. And I'm hoping you're learning a few things as you go. I wonder if there's any schools today that have joined in. There's Toothless so far. Obviously we're not going to draw that, but you could, if you wanted to, put the moon in behind there. That'd look pretty cool. Looks like he's covering the moon. Toothless, if you haven't seen the movie, these are a very good character. The Night Fury. And remember, an artist had to come up with the picture of Toothless and also all the other dragons. So if you love drawing, there's no reason one day you couldn't create some characters for movies or a book or TV show, etc., etc. So keep practicing if you love to draw. And that's looking pretty good as an outline so far. Yep, thanks Jennifer for that. Yeah, half an hour is probably a good amount of time. Once we get over that, it can be a bit long for people, but hey, thanks for giving it a go. And that's the beauty of being able to come back. Alrighty. I think what we'll do is I will just show you a little bit of how to shade Toothless with some pencils. If you wanted to do it with a lead pencil, you could, or you could get some greys or blacks. All right, I'm just going to show you a little part of Toothless, and then I'm going to say my goodbyes until tomorrow. All right, so as you can see on here, the light source, I'm looking at this and the light is coming sort of a lot from this angle. So because his tail's rounded, I'm going to get a grey, and because he's a black character, I'm just going to colour him in light grey for a start. So I've coloured in a lot of it light grey. If you're wondering what I use there, I use my Copic markers. And if you stay tuned for my Yoda video, you'll see why they're so good. All right, now I'm getting a darker grey to put down along the side. Actually, I don't like that. I'm going to use black. So I'm going to use a black pencil, and I'm pressing harder on that side, pressing harder, and then shading it out like so. But leaving a highlight and then putting some darker colour through here, and then shading it out. I was wondering how long these dragons might take, and yeah, they've taken a little bit longer than usual, but definitely been worthwhile. I'm just going to show you some other dragons that I've done as well, just to give you a bit of an idea. All right, so you can see how I've done that little part through there. You continue and match all the shading onto those. All right, okay. Thanks so much for joining in. Hope you had a good time drawing the dragons. I'm just going to show you a few more dragons that I've been doing. Okay, so I've got this one here that's wrapped onto the moon. Okay, you can see some line work through there. I've got, oops, that's my food, and then some of these other dragons where they are basically there's some lines and got the wings out each side. With all your drawings, people, sometimes with dragons, you just got to let the curves flow, and I've given you some tips to hopefully improve your dragon drawing of your own as well. All right. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you tomorrow for some food. If you want to have a sneak peek, look on Facebook or Instagram. The thumbnail's up there of what we're going to be doing. Okay. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time.